Okay, I guess we are on, and we are on again. Happy 2023, everyone that is watching us, and welcome to another masterclass. Today is the day of our masterclass number 19, and the one that starts off this new year talking about these great topics that we've been talking about the last year and the year before on our master classes. Today we have David Marques over here. He is going to talk about how to improve accessibility in OutSystems. And today we have a lot to talk about this specific topic. We have a lot of tips that you can use to improve accessibility using OutSystems. And to do that and to have a really cool guide to lead you through this presentation, David Evans wrote an article about it. You can check it on our blog. And that's it. Without further to add, David Marques, how are you? Can you lead this presentation on?
Hi, João. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go. Let's do more one masterclass. So, as João said, I wrote an article about this subject, improving accessibility in OutSystems. You can go to our website in our blog and you can read it. It's go deeper about the subject, okay? So, first of all, what is accessibility? I hope you already heard about this. The design of products, devices, service, vehicles, or environments so as to be usable by people with disabilities. Okay, we can design have a designation. In the digital context, so in our context, we can go further. This means improving experience, such as for uncommon devices, slow networks, etc. So this is also accessibility, improving accessibility. Types of disabilities. So we can have people with intellectual disability, people blind or who have a partial vision, deaf or hard of hearing, and also people with physical disability, and also people that have speech and language disability. Okay, we can have more types of disabilities, but this is the main, okay, the main topics, the main types. WCAG. I don't know if you already heard about this or if you already heard about W3C, but WCAG is a web content accessibility guideline. Okay, the World Wide Web Consortium creates an international standard guideline to help us make our web contents more accessible to people with disabilities. So they create rules and guidelines to everyone follow to try help people with disabilities. You can visit w3.org and you will find guidelines such as how to use text alternatives and when, how to use video and audio, color contrasts, keyboard shortcuts, etc., etc., etc. So nice tips that help you implement as other ones are implementing accessibility. Okay. Levels of success criteria. So they create a validation, 3 different levels of accessibility validation. This means that you can validate your project, but you have 3 levels. You can set your project as good, the lowest level, the A, one single A. This means that your project is valid for people that have disabilities, okay? But also you can improve more. So you have 3 levels, the A, the 2 A's, and the 3 A's. The A, it's the lowest. The 2 A's, the mid-range, so it's better than the lowest, and also the highest. It's difficult to achieve the 3 A's, okay? It's difficult because you have design. We want to improve our experience in terms of UI, but it's possible. Okay, I recommend start from the A validation. It's a best point to start. Don't want to achieve the highest point because it's difficult. Okay. Tips to make your web content accessible. Okay, I will share some tips in my experience. Keyboards. So ensure that all content can be accessed with the keyboard alone. So you can navigate in your website without your mouse. It's possible and need to be possible. So you need to interact with all selected contents by keyboard. Okay, need to be possible. Fill a form, etc. Focus indicators. So when you are navigating with your key tab, you need to know where is the selected element, selected input, selected interaction elements. And also navigation order. It's important to have a flow, a right flow from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right, to understand where I can navigate to the links, to the buttons inside the form, etc. You can read more about it. It's a good topic to explore, and probably will be another masterclass only about the keyboard. So ensure a usage high contrast colors. Sometimes creativity and look and feel doesn't promote accessibility. This is one of the big concerns today. To design a website, an application with great UI, with great colors and image, sometimes don't promote accessibility. Probably you already have this experience with the gray of the text, for example, in the white background. What I suggest, try to validate the contrast. You have many tools to do it. As you can see in the image, the validation is a ratio comparing it with the background and the top color, and the ratio rule is 4:57:1. Okay, you have many tools to test the colors. Okay, and share this with your designers. It's important because this starts in the design phase. Provide alternative text for image. This is not only for blind people and their screen readers. Probably this is one of the main topics when we are talking about accessibility in the web contents, but this is not only for screen readers. For example, poor or unstable internet. When the image is not loaded or it's delayed, we will see the alternative text. For cognitive disabilities, to understand better what the image means. For example, in your email, probably you already receive an email and the images are blocked and only see the alternative texts. And also improving SEO, etc. Use headings, hierarchies to structure and organize content. So headings help users get a sense of page organization and structure. The content, the titles isolate the content, separate the subjects. So try to be visually, okay? This is not only visual because SEO is important, but in terms of user experience, in terms of disabilities, try to be visually. For everyone that cannot read well, for everyone that have cognitive disabilities, it's very important to look to your contents and understand in the first view how the content are organized. Okay, how many topics, how many subjects, how many titles. Okay, the tips are about have one single one, only one heading one on top of the page, and use. This is more for designers. Don't use only font size to identify the different types of headings. Use color and weight. Okay, so and also you can use also font families. Okay. Add captions and transcripts to your videos. Information that is only provided audibly and visually will not be accessible to people who can't hear or see. Probably in social network, in videos, you already see that sometimes we have subtitles. Okay, this and you can. This is important because sometimes you are in the space when you cannot have sound. So with the subtitles, you can see the video. Okay. Subtitles is not only for translation. Okay, this is what I want to do, to say. So this help people who can't hear or see sounds that are important to understand the content. So sometimes we have sounds that are explained by subtitles that help us to understand the environment, the contents. People who can't understand the information, sometimes, for example, if you don't understand well the language, if you read with subtitles, you can understand well. And situations, as I said, where you cannot have sound, okay, and etc. Using the title attribute to help user predict where they are going. So this is so important, and it's only a small tip. Users don't know where they are going when they follow links. So when only after click on the link and visit the page, you know where you are going. So have a subtitle, in this case a title, that will be shown by a small tooltip by the browser. It's very important, and it's a small tip. Okay, try to explain the user what happened, where they are going when they click in the link. Use tables for tabular data, not for layouts. I know 20 years ago the websites was developed by tables, using tables, not CSS. But today we have CSS and many types of tags to implement layouts. So use tables only for data. Today browsers understand well the tables, the headings, the rows, the columns. So you can improve the experience using data for your content, because the screen readers, the SEO can understand well what type of contents, how the content are organized, if you are using the tables the right way. Okay. So, and also the ARIA roles and landmarks, only when necessary. What we do with the ARIA, it's like to implement something with HTML, as you can see the link here, that are not the true. This means, for example, here you can see the example with the link that it's a link, but we don't want to be a link. We can implement a rule, okay, as a button. So try to use ARIA rules to explain better, in main case for screen readers, what you want to do, what you want in the endpoints. So if you have, for example, many buttons or many links, and you only want to be realized the release as one link, you can use the areas. But this happens, for example, for sidebars, submenus, and other type of contents. Okay, explain better for screen readers what you want to do with the HTML tag. OutSystems has already accessible features. Yes, you can enable it. So how to enable it? Enabling the built-in accessibility features. So when you are using the OutSystems UI and the layouts that you have in your application, in your main layout, you have an input parameter called enable accessibility features, and you can set it to the true. By this, as you can see in the image, okay, by this, you will enable features as focus states. Okay, probably by default you will see a yellow color, I think. Skip to contents, it's a feature that helps users navigate into other contents you cannot see in your screen. Accessible links, enhanced contrasts, and other things. Okay, those are the main. And also you have other features that you can use. For example, the set focus action for inputs, the skip to content action, set ARIA hidden, And also, for example, here, the last one, the CSS class to hide text. Okay, I recall to use this an example when you want to hide text from screen readers that only appears for visual, not for content. Okay. Suggested tool to validate accessibility. Okay, we at High Interactive, we are using the Wave extension for Chrome, for Google Chrome. It's free and it's one of the best tools that you know until today. Give us the most common errors, provides feedback, and help us and give us solutions for each error or warning. And it's very easy to use. You can start now using this tool and try to validate your projects. So and now I will share with you some common issues that happens, the most common probably, and how to solve it. Okay. So missing alternative text, the most common issue. For the images, in this case, when you will receive using Wave validating tool, you will see this type of error, missing alternative text. This is the main topic that everyone's talk about when we are talking about accessibility. So set the alternative text for your images. In this case, in OutSystems, you can see here in the right side. So we need to add an extension, an attribute, call it alt, and set the description for your image. Okay, pay attention when you are setting this type of alternative text. You need to recall that when someone are using a screen reader or cannot see the image, it's important to understand the content of the image. So try to be simple. Try to describe the content of the image. Okay. Color contrast. Okay, this is the most common issue, as I said before. This starts in the design phase, and you have tools to validate this. You need to talk with your designers. You need to test also your applications, and to ensure that the contrast works well. For example, recall when you are using different type of screens and different types of lights, probably the gray that you are using in your text, it's not appearing the same way for everyone. Okay, you have a great screen, the great monitor that reproduce well your text, your website, your application, but someone have a old screen that don't have a well contrast and probably cannot read your text. Okay, pay attention on this and test the contrast. Try to do this. Test your contrast. In many cases, where we are using gray colors. Okay. But let me say how after the design we solve this. Okay, we have a problem. How to solve this? Typically, we try to avoid text on top of images. If you have text on top of images, we try to add a shadow or a overlay. Okay. As I said, grays for text, it's a concern. Okay. In the most case, it's not have enough contrast and transparencies. When you are using transparency, we need to validate the contrast. Okay. Almost every time happens that the transparency don't give us a well contrast. Next one, heading structure. Okay, how to create headings in OutSystems? It's easy. Today we have HTML element widgets. It's a widget from the platform. You can create any element, almost any element, not any. With a container. Okay, So to create H1, you only need to use the HTML element widgets and set H1. Okay, in the HTML will be reproduced as a HTML adding one tag. And okay, orphaned from form label. This is a typical issue in OutSystems. When you are using an input, you need to set a label. Okay, you will receive this type of issues. In two phases. When you are using the label and don't set the widget, when you are using the widgets and don't set the label. Okay, it's easy to use. In the label widgets, we have an input parameter to set the input widgets that you want to assign the label. Sometimes in the design, in the prototype, we have inputs without labels. So how we do it? You can hide the label, okay? But take in consideration that the label need to be hidden by the design, not for the screen readers. Okay, it's important to have the label, can be hidden, but not in the contents. Need to exist. And I think for the last one, redundant link. Another one that it's common in the websites, but also in the applications. It's common to have, for example, a link to navigate in my page, in my content, I have a link to navigate to another screen, sorry. Or more than one links to the same screen, to the same page. This means that we have two links to go to the same URL. This is not only about the accessibility validation, but also SEO. Try to avoid it in the first phase, first step. Try to avoid have more than one link to the same screen or same URL in the single screen. But when you cannot avoid it, what I suggest is using ARIA. It's an attribute that you can use as an extension in your link. Okay, ARIA hidden means true, set true. This means that the screen reader will ignore this link. When this happens, it's common, for example, when you have in the footer a small sitemap with contacts, about us, detail, and in the menu also you have those links. This means that you have in all screens typically duplicated links. Try to avoid this with these extra attributes. And I think it's done. Yes. So it's a small resume about our accessibility improvements. You can see in detail our blog in our article. I will go deep in some of those subjects, but the goal is start to doing something. Start to validate the tool. Probably in your first project, we will have some concerns to solve some errors, some warnings. But if you do this as a regular task, you will learn a lot, and in the future, you will avoid to do this concern. Okay, try to implement accessibility in your projects. I want to say this is a rule in case in Portugal, but in many countries, we have rules and guidelines from the governance. But the truth is that not everyone's apply those rules for who have disabilities concerns. Okay, try to include this type of people. Okay, because they are working with us, they are living with us, and that's it.
That's totally right, David. You finished it off really well with that sentence about the people that we are working for, and this kind of work is like inclusive for them. And I think that
Yes, it's very important.
you finished it off really well. And with that said, I want to thank to you, David, for this great presentation, and also for the ones that stood by and watched this masterclass until the end. And without further ado, let me ask for everyone watching that you drop us a like, and if you want, and if you have any question about anything that David said, you can always leave us a comment in the comment section, and whenever we see it, we will answer to what is your doubt or what's the question that you have about this presentation. And let me reinforce David's words about viewing the article that David has wrote, and that is on our website, on our blog. And that's it. Take care. See you on the next masterclass. And that's it. Have a great month.
Thank you, João.
Bye bye.
Everyone.